In the quiet suburbs of Chicago, where neatly trimmed lawns and tree-lined streets whispered stories of ordinary lives, David Miller had finally begun to find peace again. It had been 2 years since his wife Rachel had walked out of their marriage, choosing the excitement of an affair over the steady, enduring love that David had given her. Back then, the betrayal had nearly destroyed him. They had built 10 years of marriage together, raising their little daughter, Emma, in a home filled with laughter, holiday traditions, and late-night talks about the future. When Rachel confessed to the affair, David had felt the floor collapse beneath him. The divorce was bitter, and Rachel moved in with the man she claimed was her soulmate. David was left alone to pick up the broken pieces of his heart while caring for Emma. At first, life felt unbearable. Every corner of the house reminded him of Rachel, her laughter in the kitchen, her perfume lingering on the pillows, the way she used to curl up on the couch with a book. But over time, David rebuilt. He focused on Emma, pouring all his love and energy into raising her with stability and warmth. Slowly he healed. He learned to cook, managed the household bills, and built stronger bonds with friends and family who had stood by him. He even began to smile again, rediscovering hobbies like photography and cycling. And then, just when he thought the past was firmly behind him, Rachel came back. The unexpected knock. It was a crisp autumn evening when the knock came at David's door. He had just returned from Emma's soccer practice, still wearing his jacket, when he opened it to see Rachel standing there. Her once bright eyes looked tired, her shoulders slouched, and her confident smile had been replaced with something else, regret. "Hi, David," she said softly. David froze. "Rachel? What are you doing here?" I needed to talk to you," she whispered, clutching the strap of her purse. For a moment, David considered closing the door. Memories of sleepless nights and unanswered questions came rushing back. But Emma was in the living room, and he didn't want her to see him slam the door in her mother's face. So he stepped aside and let her in. The confession. They sat across from each other in the kitchen, the same place where Rachel had once confessed her affair. The silence was thick, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator. Finally, Rachel spoke. "I made a huge mistake, David. Leaving you, leaving our family. It was the worst decision of my life." David's jaw tightened. "You made your choice. You didn't just leave me, Rachel. You left Emma too." Tears welled in her eyes. "I know. And I've hated myself every day since. The man I thought I loved, he wasn't who I believed he was. He left me, David. He used me, and when things got hard, he walked away. And now, I have nothing." David leaned back in his chair, his heart torn between anger and pity. "So now that he's gone, you remember us? You remember the family you threw away?" Rachel shook her head frantically. "No, it's not just that. I realized too late what I had with you. You were always loyal, steady, loving. You were my best friend, and I was too blind to see it. I want to make things right. Please, can we try again?" David's dilemma. Her words hit David hard. There had been a time when he would have given anything to hear Rachel say those words. A time when he had prayed every night that she would regret her choices and come back to him. But now, things were different. David had grown. He wasn't the broken man she had left behind. He had rebuilt his life around Emma and learned to stand tall again. He wasn't sure if he could trust Rachel anymore, even if a part of him still remembered the good years they had shared. "Rachel," he said slowly, "do you realize what you're asking? You shattered my trust. You left our daughter wondering why her mom didn't tuck her in at night anymore. Do you think an apology can erase all of that?" Rachel sobbed, covering her face with her hands. "I don't expect it to be easy. I want to be here again. For Emma. For us. Please, David." Emma's voice. Later that night, when Rachel had left, David tucked Emma into bed. She looked up at him with her big, curious eyes. "Daddy," she whispered, "why was Mommy here?" David hesitated. "She wanted to see us." Emma bit her lip. "Does that mean she's coming back?" David's heart ached. He didn't want to burden his daughter with grown-up pain, but he also didn't want to give her false hope. "I don't know, sweetheart," he said gently. "But no matter what happens, I'll always be here for you." Emma nodded and hugged him tightly. "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, Princess." Oh. The community's reaction. Word spread quickly in their neighborhood. Rachel had returned, and people whispered about whether David would take her back. Some friends encouraged forgiveness, saying everyone deserves a second chance. Others warned David not to repeat old mistakes, reminding him of the pain Rachel had caused. David listened but stayed quiet. He knew this decision wasn't about what others thought, it was about what was best for him and Emma. A new beginning or a final goodbye. Rachel didn't give up. She began visiting regularly, bringing gifts for Emma, attending her school events, and trying to show she had changed. She even apologized to David's parents, who had been deeply hurt by her choices. But David watched carefully. He saw her effort, but he also remembered the nights he had cried alone, the way Emma had asked over and over why Mommy wasn't home. Weeks passed, and finally, David knew he had to give Rachel an answer. They sat in the same kitchen again, the weight of unspoken words filling the air. "Rachel," he said, "I believe you regret what you did. And I believe you love Emma. But love isn't enough. Trust takes years to build and only moments to break. I can forgive you for my own peace, but I can't go back. Not after everything." Rachel's tears fell silently. She nodded, accepting the finality of his words. "I understand," she whispered. "I'll still be here for Emma, if you'll let me." David nodded. "She deserves her mother in her life. But as for us, that chapter is over." Moving forward, Rachel did become more consistent in Emma's life, showing up for her daughter in ways she hadn't before. And while the marriage was never restored, a new kind of balance was created. David continued to grow, eventually opening his heart again, not to Rachel, but to a future where trust and love could thrive with someone new. And Rachel, though burdened by regret, learned that choices carry consequences. She had lost the man who once loved her unconditionally, but she had gained a second chance to be the mother Emma deserved. In the end, the affair had been more than a mistake. It had been a turning point. For David, it was the moment he discovered his own strength. For Rachel, it was the moment she realized the true cost of betrayal. And for Emma, it was the moment she saw that even when love between parents is broken, a father's devotion can remain unshakable.